Greetings, YouTube. Today's article comes out of Cambridge, and it was last month. David Updike went to a park near his home, as he does on a regular basis. It was a nice day, and as he normally does when he goes to the park, he brings his camera. He likes to take shots of nature. Not an unusual concept. My mother and my mother-in-law do both these things. Not to mention, every camera made in the last 10 years has a built-in camera. So pretty much everyone has a camera when they are in a park. That particular day, Mr. Updike didn't find anything to take a picture of. He just sat there, enjoyed the park, and then he left. And again, I've done the same thing myself. I've actually been known, I was in my younger days, to go to a park and nap in the park, just because I could nap in the park. I'm less inclined to nap in the park now. I'd rather sit here and watch YouTube videos. If I need a nap, I have a lovely bed or sofa. But while in the park, he was stopped by police. It seems that someone was made nervous by the fact that he was in the park with a camera. And then over the course of the conversation with the police, he discovered that the person, in fact, had taken a picture of him to show that he was in the park with the camera. Now remember, Mr. Updike didn't take any pictures. However, the anonymous caller did take a picture of him sitting on a park bench doing nothing. Which, as Mr. Updike closes the article with, it says, "The fact that you now have my picture in your phone is both sadly ironic and, well, creepy. Could you please delete it?" I doubt they'll be deleting it. They're going to be keeping that for a most wanted poster of the future, I'm sure. Now, this kind of behavior has become endemic in Western culture. That people seem to have an expectation of privacy that does not exist. If you were in a public park, you were in a public space. People can take your picture whenever they darn well please. Now, he is being ironic about the fact that it's kind of creepy. Maybe it is kind of creepy. I'm not sure. It's up to him. But if he wanted to take a picture of something in the park that included people, that is okay. You are in a public park. You have no expectation of privacy. At one time, public telephones were a thing. Now it's really hard to find a public telephone, but they did exist at one time. I think my mall, actually, near me, actually removed them all because they didn't have any use for them. And it was proven in court that if someone overhears a conversation you're having on a public phone or your cell phone in public, and you incriminate yourself to a criminal act, that is considered evidence against you. There is no expectation of privacy in public. So please, all you pearl-clutching social conservatives, sit down, let go of those pearls, and breathe. If you would like to say not worry about having your picture taken in public, then I guess you can just not go in public. Now, what's interesting is I had a run-in with the police myself just this past weekend. My wife and I were in a cemetery leaving offerings at a grave on Halloween. There were tours going along around the cemetery that day, which was unusual. Usually there's almost no one in the cemetery when we are there. It's not a cemetery that is visited often. It almost has no upkeep. The volunteers try the best they can, but there just is a lot of area to cover, and no one's ever there. So I was quite surprised to find there were lots of people in the park. So in the cemetery. So I shrugged my shoulders and I said, okay, whatever. So we walked past them. We went to the grave. I left an offering. Then I was poking around, was looking at there's a large water outlet in the cemetery where it helps to drain stormwater out of the city. And I was looking at it because it was it looked like they had actually had some flooding in the past. So I'm taking a look at it, and it was pretty high, but it wasn't flooding. And I'm turning around to walk back to my wife, and I'm commenting about the fact that, hey, the water's pretty high. When a cop car pulls up, an SUV in particular, which isn't shocking because, again, the upkeep of the cemetery is poor, and getting down to where we were in a vehicle would have been difficult, a regular car. And two cops get out and ask what we're here for, and I tell them. I said, I'm visiting a grave for a friend. A friend can't visit this grave, so I'm here visiting on his behalf. We have a nice little conversation. We talk about the tour. But of course, I'm a white guy, and we're a white couple. It's broad daylight. I'm sure there would have been a different turn of events if things had, such circumstances had been different. But the reality is that someone saw us walking down to an unused portion of the cemetery, and someone called the cops. Don't know why. Got no idea. Don't really care. I diffused the situation without a problem. We parted ways. They went around and toured the cemetery some more. We went on with our merry way. But this kind of surveillance society is something that we need to eliminate. Seeing someone is not the same thing as someone being suspicious of something. You should actually have to see someone do something suspicious before you decide to clutch your pearls and start dialing 911. But when people just exist, that isn't a criminal offense. Say, for example, being black in the United States of America, for, just entertain that idea what it's like. But in this case, it was just annoying. It slowed my day down a little. I had to interact with a cop, which I've never really enjoyed. They are not your friends. Mr. Updike had to deal with cops too, because someone was clutching their pearls and all upset that their little snowflake might have their picture taken in a park. Well, like I said, there is no expectation of privacy in a park. If you don't want to worry about ever having your picture taken in public, never go in public again. Now, if someone takes your picture and wants to use it commercially and they don't contact you and get permission or reimburse you, what have you, then you have a legal leg to stand on. That's what Mr. Updike's doing. He's not making money off of this picture or pictures. He just likes to take pictures. And like I said, everybody carries a camera. All kinds of people take them. My wife takes pictures with her camera on her phone. She takes pictures with her SLR. Her mother has a nice SLR. They're both photographers. They take pictures all the time. They carry their cameras around a lot. It does not mean they want pictures of your delicate little snowflake. So please remember, when you're in public, you have no expectation of privacy.